It hasn't been too long and yet another wave of solar-related IPO is hitting the market, Bursa Malaysia. Of course, we are already familiar with the veteran solar stock like Berhad, Semiden, Solar West and etc. Today, our main characters, Verdant Solar Holdings Berhad, is going to list on AC market and the principal advisor is Mercury Securities Sendirian Berhad. Upon listing, Verdant Solar Holdings will have the stock code of Verdant 0373. These are my social medias. Other than YouTube, you can find me on Mumu and also Xiaohongshu. This is the IPO timetables. The openings of application is 29 September and then the closing of application is 7 October. The listing date will be on 22 October and then will be listed on AC market. Upon listing, the enlarged number share is around 817 million. IPO price per share means per unit is 31 cent ringgit Malaysia. So based on these two information, the market capitalization is calculated at 253 million ringgit Malaysia. As we already know, Verdant Solar is dealing with solar product, but then below this solar product, it has three segments. The first segment, which is the most significant segment, is dealing with EPCC services for solar PV system. The second segment is O&M services for solar PV equipment and system. First of all, we need to know what is O&M. It is an abbreviation, operations and maintenance. The third segment is trading of solar product. The system type is rooftop solar. We know that solar PV, it has two types. One is on the ground, the other one is on rooftop. So our main character is dealing with rooftop products. And then their customer, it has three. One is residents, commercial and also industry. And then based on this revenue contribution, the most significant segment, like I mentioned just now, is the first segment, EPCC services for solar PV system. The contribution in financial year 2025 contributed 99.02%, approximately 100% or 134 million ringgit Malaysia. What is the financial year of this company? The financial year is ended 30 June. So the financial year 2025 is ended on 30 June 2025. And then this is the diagram. What is actually solar PV EPCC industry players they are dealing with? So they are dealing with engineering, procurement, construction, commissioning, and of course O&M services. And then it started from site assessment to the last stage, which is completion and handover. So these are the scope of work that the company is dealing with. First of all, design, engineering and planning from project initiation. So as a main contractors, so the company need to assign who is the subcontractor, and then the subcontractor will assign which part of job should the company do. And then second is securing regulatory permits and approvals to the local authorities. Since this company is dealing with solar PV, you can't escape to get permissions and approval from these respective parties such as TMB, Cerdas, Energy Commission Malaysia, because you are dealing with electricity. Third one, procurement, supply and subcontractor coordination. Since you are going to install this rooftop solar PV, you are going to procure all the required material and then all this supplier and also contractor. Fourth is structural M&E works. And then the main thing is the installation and integrations of equipments and system. Since you have procured all the materials, how you are going to construct, how you are going to install and integrate. Last but not least, which is the very important part, interconnections to the power grid. You already installed, you already integrated, you must make sure that your system is connected to the power grid, which is held by TMB. Last but not least, testing and commissioning. Of course, you have installed and integrated, you must make sure that the system is functioning well. So these are the basic explanations as an EPCC contractor, design, planning, engineering, procurement. So as a short form, EPCC works. When we talk about solar, we talk about the solar policy. Under this solar policy, actually it has many policies. First of all, we need to know what is NEM. The full name is Net Energy Metering. Of course, this NEM has already ended in June 2025. Under this NEM 3.0, it has three parts. The first part is NEM Rakyat, this is dealing with the peoples. Second one is NEM Government, this is dealing with government. The third one is NEM NOWA, this is dealing with commercial and industry. The third policy is Solaris. Actually, this Solaris project is tied with Celco program. Now, what is Celco program? Celco program stated that any excess generations of electricity from the solar PV system will not be allowed to be exported or sold to the power grid. This is the main part. The another policy, Community Renewable Energy Aggregations Mechanism. So the title is a bit long, so we straight call it as CREAM. This name is given by the policy. So according to this CREAM policy, these mechanisms allows energy companies to source electricity from rooftop solar panels. So this is the main thing, only rooftop solar panels, and sell it to both commercial and domestic consumer within a 5 km radius. This is another main thing, 5 kilometer radius. It has its calculation. So exceeding this kilometer radius, you will not be able to participate in this CREAM program. Last but not least, another solar policy, solar atap. Solar atap is to replace the NEM program. So we already knew what is NEM program. So this is going to replace this NEM program because this NEM program ended June 2025. But then it has another main point. The energy offset rate will be based on the market electricity price. So the price is a floating basis. These are the examples, proof, and also project handled by the group from commercial and industry buildings as well as the residential buildings. The second segment, although this segment contributed just a little bit of revenue contributions, but we also need to look into what is this O&M services. This is to ensure that it can operate continuously at its optimum efficiency levels. So it has 3 precautions method. The first one is operations of solar PV system. Of course, they have their own mobile apps, which is this Verdant Home, in order to monitor real-time system status, revenue metering, alarms, and diagnostics. Second one, preventive maintenance, is to check for any damages and dirts to the solar PV modules. So it is some sort of like preventive measures to make sure that the solar PV system is functioning properly from time to time. The third precautions method, which is this corrective maintenance, is about repair and parts replacement, and then to minimize downtime and optimize performance. So it's very easy to understand about this corrective maintenance and also preventive maintenance. The last segment, which is this trading of solar product. Of course, company trades their own brands of solar ventilation system under the name of Verdant Star, such as these solar panels and inverters. This is the group structures after IPO. We can see the managing director and also the managing director wife. Upon listing, they are still holding approximately 70% to this company. This is the utilizations of proceeds. Through this IPO, company can raise 44.02 million, and then it has 4 purposes. The first purpose is about business expansion, and then under this business expansion, it has 2 purposes. And then the first one is to establish the branch offices in Peninsular Malaysia, requires 14 million. Second one, expansions through strategic investment M&A opportunities is about 10 million. The second one, enhancements of digital infrastructures 3.8 million. The third one, working capital 11.72 million. The fourth one is estimated listing expenses is around 4.5 million. Now, this is the details of first purpose. It is intended to establish branch offices in Melaka, Kuantan, and Ipoh. Of course, you establish these branch offices, you need to have rental and renovation works, recruitment costs, marketing and administrative costs. So combining all these costs, company requires 14.778 million. But then the group is intended to allocate 14 million, so the excess cost will be raised through bank borrowing. Second purpose, expansion through strategic investment M&A opportunity. So the company is intends to invest or acquire company which can strengthen the group core business. As at the LPD, the group has not identified any prospective acquisition target. So the company is still waiting and is still observing which company is suitable for their core business. Company has also stated any excess funds not used will be utilized to meet the working capital. Enhancements of digital infrastructures. And then it has 3 descriptions. The first one, implementations of ERP system. So what is actually ERP system? Enterprise Resource Planning. It is a software to integrate, manage the core business processes across departments, so on and so forth. This is about ERP system. Second one is their own mobile application. It's called Verdant Home. Third one, CRM system. CRM, the full name is called Customer Relationship Management. So what is this CRM system? It is to provide the sales team with improved analytical and reporting tools that tracks leads and manage sales pipeline. Now we look into the major customer of the group in financial year 2025. But then company tells you that they have no major customer based on their core business. Based on the second paragraph, the 2 customer sub-segments, namely residential and commercial and industry. Residential sub-segments are mainly homeowner, so it is an independent party. So it does not involve a company or corporates to subscribe to purchase your service from time to time. It is homeowner. So their second segment and third segment, O&M service and the tradings of solar product segment in aggregate also have no major customer. But then they have their major supplier in financial year 2025. All the major suppliers are from China, and then it has 3 major suppliers that contributed more than double digit. The first one is JA Solar International, contributed about 33%. Jinglong Technologies contributed 21.48%. The third one is Trina Solar Energy, contributed 10.67%. If you have not joined our membership program to get all those exclusive analysis, we have offered 2 types of languages. The first one is Chinese, and the second one is English channel. But then it is more worth for you to subscribe and join the English program because you can also access to the Chinese IPO analysis video. Now let's look into the dividend policy program. The group does not have any formal dividend policy, but then based on their past history, they have declared and paid dividend from financial year 2022 to financial year 2025.